Good morning, everyone. We're gonna get started here. First of all, let's hype it up a little bit here. I know usually we start with like a motivational video, but we're gonna kind of start things off a little bit different today, this Monday morning. Hope everyone is doing amazing. Um, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sherilyn, but you guys can just call me Cher for short. Um, so first of all, let's go ahead and throw fire signs in the chat, you guys, this morning, especially huge shout out to Damon for having us. And let's start with some fire signs in the chat, you guys. Like there has been so much momentum in the month of April. There's been so many wins this month, you guys, seriously. So first I want to give a huge shout out to a couple of people here, especially in our 7-figure agent family. So we'll start off with, so what I want you guys to do is basically put some hearts in the chat next to these names. So first of all, let's give it up for Tanika. She got one family for $602.28 in AP. We have Miss Patricia, one family for $657.48. Miss Ayana, one family for $814. We also have Bradley. He had three families for $2,111.28 in AP. We have Miss Allie, one family for $2382.12. And then we got Nurse Sam. We have two families for $2,480 in AP. And then we got Miss Lorena, three families for $2690. 52. And then we have Mr. Tarek Madison, six families, you guys, for $7,383.96 in AP. Now we have Mr. Aiden Barton. All right, we have him 12 families for $10,184. Now, you guys, drum roll, please. All right, so we got the top five. So coming in number 5, we have Miss Jamila, or you can call her Jay from Jersey. 15 families for 15,000, you guys, in AP. And then we have Sherilyn, or myself, for 17 families with 20,471 in AP. And then in the top 3, guys, these are killers. So first, we for number 3, we have Mr. Julius. Yeah, so we have Julius for 23 families, you guys, in $20,789.30 in AP. Coming in number 2, we have Miss Shanae Hicks for 19 families. Let's get it. 26,804.22, you guys, in AP. And then coming in number 1, MVP, we have Miss Caitlin Barber, 22 families, you guys, for 28,661.50 in AP. Let's get it, you guys. Let's grow. Throw some hearts and fire signs. Let's get it, y'all. All right. So we are gonna call this segment Momentum May. Okay, so Momentum May, we want to think about how we think of motivation at first, right? When it comes to like motivation May. Nah. We're gonna have this, focus on discipline over motivation, you guys, especially we're in the 5th month of 2025. If you guys have one win from the start of May last week, go ahead and drop it in the chat, you guys, because there are a couple of people here who already started the month of May right, right? So let's go ahead and drop some of your wins in the chat, whether it's big, small, like you talked to a client, you had your first presentation, you had your first sale. Like, go ahead and drop it in the chat so that way we can like continue to hype you up. You have to keep the momentum going, especially in this month, right? So if you have any wins in the chat so far, like for this month of May, please drop it so we can continue to hype you up. I think I see one person who had a couple of wins this month. I see her right there. I'm gonna call her out a little bit, Miss Nia. She already dropped some sales in their chat. So shout out to Nia. And also, again, shout out to everyone who did an amazing job in April. Let's continue that momentum. Now, you also have to remember, you guys, you have to return to your why all the time. It's really easy to get lost. And like, I realized too personally, that's how I've lost some momentum, is just simply forgetting about my why and like, why am I here again? But you have to remember, like, you're not just here to drop AP, right? We're not here to just do that. We're here to actually serve families, and we're also here for more than just that too. You're still moving in your purpose, right? So that is definitely something that you have to um continue to be mindful of. And like they say, we don't wait for momentum, we actually have to create it. And that's where we come in when it comes to uh consistency. Oh, shout out to Tiffany, she submitted her first annuity roller of 120K. All right, everyone, drop in the chat, congrats Tiffany, let's go. Way to start off the month. Now, so, with a lot of momentum, also, you guys, comes with consistency. Um, and that is definitely something that I had to, start off with when I was new, especially to everyone who may be new here. I think that's the number one question that we always get, like, what is the main thing that you need to get started, right? And I think it comes first, like, with being consistent and figuring out, focusing on your reps. So for instance, like when I first started, you guys, I was very like, I was always asking myself, why am I not getting results? But you need to ask yourself, okay, what am I not doing? And the number one thing is sometimes we're just not putting in enough activity, or we're not just being consistent enough, right? So being consistent kind of goes hand in hand with figuring out a schedule that works for you. So when I first started, you know, um, I had to, since I am a nurse, right? I have to figure out, okay, what schedule can work for me so that way I can continue to be consistent. So the first thing I did was I did I started off with 2 or 3 shifts a week. And then now I weaned it down to once a week, right? Or even if you have a job outside of nursing, right? Um, Figure out what exact times that you wanna start, right? So for example, I'm in a different time zone. I'm in California, so I'm 3 hours behind. So I think the first thing I do, of course, is make sure I'm on time with these calls. So I have to be up here by 6 a.m., you guys. So I think just figuring out, your day-to-day schedule. So 6 a.m. we got the calls, and then, the next thing that I started doing too was making sure that I feed my mind. So whether it's listening to, John Maxwell on leadership, or anything that has to do with your mindset. Shout out to Caitlin for this, but she suggested the VOIBO affirmations. And even Damon, he recommended, you know, writing down what you're grateful for every morning, which is what I started implementing as well. And then from there, once you spend time on yourself, you guys, um, that's when you can get started with your day. So I typically do a couple of breaks in between my days. So I do maybe about 3 to 4 hours of dialing if you're doing dials, and then take a break in between, and then I'm reading What to Say When You're Talking to Yourself. Lorena says she's reading that. That's amazing. um and take breaks in between, like commit to, like, maybe like whatever works for you. If it's 2 hours, 3 hours of your power hours, and then you go ahead and get something to eat, and then you finish again with like your afternoon and evening sessions, right? So as far as focusing on your reps and your metrics, what they say is, write this down, you guys. So a couple of metrics that you want to be mindful of, especially when you're starting, right? So as far as dials, if you're doing dialing or final expense, the goal for that is about 300 dials, or keyword or, um, how many, there's like a certain amount of contacts, but usually it's 300 dials, 4 or to 5 presentations, right? Or um 1 to 2 closes. Okay, so those are the main metrics that you want to really focus on, and that's something that Caitlin also definitely emphasizes as well, right? So again, 300 dials, or 4 presentations, or 2 sales, right? So yeah, so go ahead and write that down. So what I do actually is that I when I first started, I had to first handwrite it. I still do handwrite my metrics, you guys, because I don't really use the CRM as much. I do for dialing, don't get me wrong, but it's just that I also use my Google Voice. But let me grab my planner here real quick. But for example, from the start of, let's say, for instance, in January was one of my biggest months. So um so for example, I wrote down here in like a little note card. So for instance, on this one Monday in January 20th, right, I did about 96 dials. However, I did do 4 presentations, but 0 closes. And then boom, the next day, right, I did 24 dials, but um I did 4 contacts and then 2 presentations. But I still ended up getting with 1 close. So that's still hitting the metric. So Monday, I still hit the metrics, even if I didn't get a sale. And then Tuesday, I still was able to do 1 sale, even if I did 2 presentations. But like you still could have kept going. So usually too, write this down, you guys. The number one thing too is to at least get a sale, hopefully, or close by before 1. And then you just keep it going. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that I did, is to not keep going once I had a sale. But no, you have to keep going, you guys, in order to continue to have that fire going in you and that momentum in you, okay? Now, um, as far as, sorry, one second. Now, so yeah, so again, like even if I started at 9 or 10 in the morning, for example, here in January 28th, I noted it down. I started at 9:30. Um, I did 40 dials that day, but 4 presentations. So that's still hitting the metrics. So like it's okay if you don't hit the 300 dials, you guys, because you have to think about your talk time, right, on the phone. So the more you have talk time, the more presentations that you'll get in and the more chances that you'll close. So in that day, January 28th, I did 4 presentations that day and I was able to close one of them. So what I did here was I split this note card into 3. And then I put like in the first line, like, okay, dial how many dials, like tally up the dials, and then the contacts, presentations, and closes on the bottom. So obviously if you don't have the CRM, that's fine, especially when you're first starting. It's good to have to write it down as well. So keep writing it down, like especially with your planner, you guys. Like you can this is something that Caitlin has you know, really showed us, like this is straight up gold. So you need to also document, like when did you close? So that way, for next time, like, okay, like I want to do like another 20K, 10K, 20K month, right? How did I do that? So for example, it looks like here on the bottom in the month of February, like I was closing some California people in at 7 p.m. I only did like again 4 presentations, a few dials, and one close, right? So just focus on the actual metrics and actually being consistent, with that day to day. Like even if you don't get a close, it's fine. Like you will get a close in another week. So for example, you guys, full transparency for April, shoot, like I like in the first 2 weeks, like I only had 1 to 2 closes in the first 2 weeks, but then like it picked back up in the next few weeks, right? And see, but that's the power of actually staying consistent, because you will continue to make up for it. So for example, yeah, in April, like I literally, yeah, only did 2 to 4 closes, and then like I still ended off with 17 families for the month of April. So things do end up changing. You just have to literally keep going because the numbers really don't lie, you guys. Now to end it off here, to wrap up my part before we pass it on to Jamila. Okay. So I want you guys to write this down. I think the number one thing too is to, aside from being consistent, is to be coachable and to ask for help and to invest in yourself. Also, shout out to the people who would message me for help. If you need anything, that's a lot of courage out of you to simply ask. Like we all don't know everything, right? Especially if you're starting out. But I think the biggest thing, especially when you're starting out, you guys, is investing in yourself, right? There's like, if there's any boot camps, if there's any events, I would definitely attend them. So that way you can get your feet wet. I've done a couple of, boot camps from True Wealth. If you guys are in True Wealth. So they run a couple of boot camps you know? So definitely start off with that, just invest in yourself. And again, like just simply ask around for help. We're all here to help each other out. Like we know how it feels when you first started. Um, but yeah, I am going to go ahead and pass it on to Jamila, you guys.
Thank you. Good morning, y'all. This lovely morning. Cher, thank you for that. Can we give it up for my girl Cher? She's still doing her nursing thing. She's hitting her matrix um, consistently, I might add, and she's doing it with a smile, and I love to see it. So this morning I want to talk about effective communication. Um, I think most of us on here, well, a lot of us are nurses. And I had to think, what is my number one thing that like I'm good at, and especially with my patients, and how can I transfer that to insurance? And that's what I figured: effective communication, and just being clear. And it's that's going to look different for everybody. It's going to look different for everybody, but the goal is to make sure you both can understand each other. So first of all, like clarity and simplicity. Like, ask your client, like, what is it that you want? What's your why? You know what I mean? This document that Damon gave us is just a blueprint, but you need to make it your own. Like, what are you looking for? Is this for you? Is this for your, what do you want to leave your family? Is this, do you want to be buried? You know, things of that nature. Like, you're getting a clear picture of what they want. Ask. And it's okay to ask again for you to get clarity on that as well. Because sometimes I know for myself, I don't, I listen to answer, you know what I mean? But not to, to respond, but not to, really listen to the client. But that's your number one thing, listening to them so that they can know that you're really listening to them. And it's okay to take notes too. Active listening, ask open-ended questions, and listen without interrupting. That's the number one thing too. Like, let them get their words out. Don't interrupt them in any way. Um, and showing empathy. Like, I think sometimes we want to get the sell. You know what I'm saying? And we skip that part. Um, Life insurance is an emotional buy. You know, asking what their why is. Um, for myself, my why is always going to be my family. For most people, is going to be their families as well. Um, you know, um, Asking them, do they have kids? Do they have dogs? Because how people are with their dogs and pets and things of that nature. Being a little bit more personable, that has been effective for me. You don't want to just be um, a salesperson. Essentially, I want my clients to feel like I'm a part of their family. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be there forever. you know Whenever I get a sale or don't, I always say I'm going to be your forever agent, so that they can feel comfortable. Here's my telephone number, here's my email address, and I make it my business also to make sure I follow up with those emergency contacts so that they know, hey, if something happens to me, I'm going to be reliable. That's the number one thing. They're going to be reliable. Um, and also knowing your product. That's important. I think my number one things is I didn't know my product. I got a chargeback because I didn't know my product. You know what I mean? Um, they found something better. Um, you know, and I couldn't blame anybody but myself because I should have looked deeper into, knowing my product for this particular client. But you live and you learn, and be confident. Um, you know, don't go in like with a little voice. Um, you know, um, speak up, be professional, maintain eye contact if it's face to face, um, speak with confidence and reassurance. That definitely has helped me. And try to be trustworthy. You know, these people, you give them these, they want their money. You know what I'm saying? This is a money transaction, but make sure you're bringing value. They want to make sure they can trust you. You know, you're giving you're getting their social security number, their address, all that information. That's important, you know. Um, and make sure you're giving them a story. If I'm, what does it look like? If this policy is for your daughter and you don't get it for your daughter, what is this going to look like? Is she going to be able to pay those, you know, the hospital bill or the mortgage if something happens, and that's not in effect? Where is that going to leave your daughter? Is that going to leave her out in the streets? You know, things of that nature. That's very important. Um, I'm sorry. And make sure you're following up also. I think another thing that in the beginning that I wasn't good at was following up with my clients. Following up with them after they get their policy. I always tell them, call me when you get your policy, and if they don't call me, I call them. I make it a point to send out little gifts. They appreciate that a lot. I have two clients right now that call me like every week. It could be annoying, but it is what it is. And when you do get the policy, make sure everything is correct. Make sure they don't have any questions. And it's okay for you to ask them questions too, because you know what you know. You know, you don't know what you don't know, and things of that nature. So that's my slew for the day, and I'm gonna pass it on to Shanae.
Oh, sorry, can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
I was like, where's the button? Thank you, Jay from Jersey. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody here? I see a lot of cameras on. Some cameras on. Bradley, KB, Aiden driving. Shakira, happy Monday. Happy Monday. So thank you, Damon, for having us on this call. My thing is freezing. Is it just me? Okay. Oh, Kim say hey. Thank you, Damon, for having us on this call. It's really exciting. So I loved all the things that Cher and Jamila talked about. Was really good. And one thing that Jamila you spoke on that I wanted to highlight, persistency, right? So one of the things that has helped me, right, when it comes to, like Cher said, it's more than just let's say putting up numbers, putting up AP, trying to be on the leaderboard. Nobody cares about that. You know what I mean? What's the money in your account? What's the money that's staying in your account and not charging back on you, right? So I want everybody here, because I know some people are new and just getting started, and you may be like me. Like when I joined the seven-figure agent community, I'm like, what are these carriers? What is this? What does GTG mean? What is this? I had no clue what was going on, right? Before we got a clue. But then oh man, where was I going with that? So when you start, it's like it's a lot, right? So you have to learn the process. You have to stick to the process. So first, before we get to persistency, the process is plugging into the trainings, plugging into the leadership calls. I know there are plenty. I know that some you guys work, some of you have other responsibilities, kids, things like that, but it's really just showing up for yourself, because everybody invested in themselves to be here, right? So being intentional about that time. And how I started with that was, I have an alarm on my phone, literally. So every Monday at 9, every Monday at 8, And then every training calls we have at 9 and any other calls I have in between there, right? And as far as my clients, I have a Google Calendar now where that helps me stay focused for the day. And that's where I'm leading into schedule. Like looking at my calendar now is like wild. Like I'm gonna have to log off after this call and it's about to get busy. But sticking to that schedule, right? Especially for those people who work. So if you're working and you know, like, hey, I have this day off, I can dedicate this time towards my business, because the goal is everybody's here because they want to build the business, right? And it steps to it. You can't, some people you could just quit and I'm just gonna go all in, but some people it takes time to do that adjustment, right? So let's say, okay, I work on Monday, I'm off on Tuesday, work on Wednesday, off on Thursday. Okay, I know these hours I can dedicate towards my business. So for me, sticking to that schedule, I'm usually doing calls from about 11 to around 3. Then I give myself a break, and then usually about like 5 to 8 is like my jam kind of. And I stick to those times, but I still give myself a break. It's not sitting on hours staring at a computer all day, like driving yourself insane, you know what I mean? But what started that, me sticking to that schedule, was actually me plugging into that first boot camp. My first one was actually in December, right? I think a few people, everybody on this call is we're associated with the same teams and everything. So there are a lot of boot camp calls, boot camp trainings all over, whether it be, let's say, True Wealth, whether it be Last and Mark, whether some people are in different IMOs. You have to plug in, because then you have to be around those people when you don't know what you're doing. I'm a nurse. I don't come from a sales background. I don't have any network marketing skills. I used to think like these people are special, like they know these things because maybe they have these skills, but you can learn it too. So I want to speak to that person who thinks that I just do this. How can I learn this? I learned it. Like, it is a skill that is duplicatable, a system that is duplicatable, right? You just have to stick to it. You have to learn your script. You have to stay in that. Jamila was talking about discovery. You have to talk to the client. They're not just hey, Mr. John, so how much you spending this month? Okay, so this is what we're gonna do, and then give me a social, it just doesn't work like that. Would you talk to somebody like that? You have to go through the process. And as you start doing it consistently, it gets easier. It's like a conversation. Like, I don't have to look at my script. Like, I already know where I'm going with it. So it starts to flow. So don't think it's just going to be like, bam, drill sergeant all the time. But in the beginning, you have to stick to it. Bless you, Jamila. You have to stick to it. And I see you. I'm sorry. You have to stick to it. You have to learn the things, and it gets easier with time. And I used to hear that all the time, and I'm just like, it is so true. And the timing gets better. When I started, I was doing a few hours like per day, and then it got shorter. Like, I started to break it up, and then it doesn't look like how people say, oh, I don't want to be dialing for 35 hours a week or whatever they say. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like that all the time. Once you learn the skill, once you keep track of your metrics, what Cher was saying, you need to write down, use that calendar. Before I started getting consistent in things, my calendar was empty. Now I can tell you what time of the day I closed, what time did I get a presentation in, what time did I actually start dialing, what time was I not doing the dang on thing and went to go take a nap. Call yourself out on, because if you don't know what you did, then how can you go back and like fix it? I'm really big on problem solving, right? So if there is something where something is not working, what did I not do? Or, okay, so if I did this before and then this didn't work this week, what happened differently within that week? Were you distracted? Were you doing other things? So you have to be honest with yourself. It's not saying and it's your calendar. You can write whatever, you know what you was doing. So you could just write it down, be honest with yourself, and then go back, because don't go to the whole, oh, it was the leads, it was this, it was that, it was that. Numbers don't lie, your metrics don't lie. So you have to like keep track of those things. And one of the last things, because I'm gonna hand it over to KB, is also keeping track of your numbers responsibly, right? Because a lot of people, because it's a final expense industry, right? And we do get paid on issue. So you can write a policy, today's Monday, I could write a Bought Life, and I'm probably getting paid either depending how fast it get processed, either tomorrow or Thursday, right? You have to be responsible when it comes to what is hitting, let's say, your bank account. So that's when we have trackers, right? There are trackers that we share with everybody where you're able to keep track of your numbers. It's not just your presentations. It's not just how many people did I talk to, how much AP did I have, how much hit your account. Is that correct, right? You want to make sure things are lining up with your carriers. And then you want to make sure that you are reinvesting back into your business, whether it is, let's say, flyers. I know, Jamila, you did some flyers, leads. Let's say if you do a senior center, you want to buy them some pizza or whatever, but you have to keep track of those numbers effectively. One, because it will bite you in the butt when it comes tax time. I'm going through that right now. So you have to keep track of those numbers, and this way it gives you a good thing to look at. You know what I mean? You have to operate like a business, because essentially there's nobody, yes, there are leaders here who will help you, where if you have a question, if you're putting in the work, whatever it is, we are here to help you because we want everybody to succeed, right? But then you have to take account into, this is my business. I need to keep track. What is coming in, what is going out, right? Because if your goal is to, let's say, step away from your 9 to 5, or when it is your 9 to 5, your 12 to 12, you know how much is hitting your account. If I do 36 hours, I know that that check should be this. You should have the same responsibilities when it comes to your business. So just keeping track of those things, operating like a business owner. And it is a lot to like grasp, but you learn from the people around you. You take hands with them. If you have a question, never feel scared to reach out. A few people have reached out to me. And like sometimes I don't know. I'd be like, I don't know, but I'm gonna point you to who does know. But just ask the questions. Don't be scared of the people. They don't bite. And that used to be me. I'm like, I wanted to ask what the heck is going on. But luckily we had somebody who's about to come speak who did have the courage. She just said, you know what, let me see what's going on here and then see if this works for us. And it's working out for everybody. So the last thing I want to leave you guys with is, it's impossible for it to work for other people and not work for you. It's just impossible. And it's different types of people from different backgrounds. You see Caitlin, single mom, 2 kids. Shanae, she's a nurse. Yes, single, no kids. Cher lives in California, 3 hours time difference from Eastern. She's showing up on the calls. Jamila, mom, nurse. The girl just do everything. She flip a house. I don't know. Like, she just do everything. So it's not just one dynamic, like, oh no, it only works for this type of people. You're seeing the different peoples, the Juliuses, the Aiden, I don't know, it's 21. I think Damon would say it's 21. Like, you see it working for so many different people. There's no reason that it cannot work for you. So that's the biggest thing I want to leave you guys with. Mindset, because that can be the biggest thing that will hold anybody back when it comes to any business or any opportunity. So I'm going to hand it over to KB, and then she'll wrap us up for this morning.
Let's go. Can we all drop some fire, some hearts, some love in the chat for Shanae? Shanae, shout out to you. I want to give it to you all the way out in Jersey, girl. Like, Shanae give off like I'm from upstate vibes. Like, don't mess with me. Like, listen, like Shanae don't play. And when I'm talking about she don't play all the way down to her business and her numbers. And I have a lot of respect for her for just that. And can we also drop some flowers and hearts in the chat for Jamila, for also for Sherilyn. They came in this call this morning and they absolutely killed it. They absolutely killed it. Like, I told them, like, hold on, wait a second. Like, you guys need this mic. Like, y'all deserve the mic, not me. Like, y'all deserve the mic because y'all have the evidence, y'all have the proof, y'all have the results. You guys got people looking like, dang, like this is fire. So I want to shout out the three of you ladies. So much love from the bottom of my heart all the way to the top. I have a lot of respect for people who don't give up. I have a lot of respect for people who figure it out regardless of their circumstances. And I think that comes back from me being a single mom, like not being able to, like, it was hard. Like, I lived a hard, tough life. And I just don't take soft, weak excuses from men or women like lightly. I really don't. Like, figure it out. That's me. Like, get it done. That's me. Wake up earlier. That's me. Sit down longer. That's me. Like, that is truly me. See, I don't have the success I have, right? I wasn't able to help these three ladies create the success they have, right? Bring them under me in my wing and say, you know what, this is what you got to do. And now here are their results, right? The reason why I'm so strongly, powerfully, in a great way, right? In a great way, because I know what I had to go through to get to where I'm at today. I remember the sacrifices that I had to make, saying no on the weekends. You guys remember, I'm only 26, right? I'm only 26. Now, I'm not the 22-year-old Caitlin I remember myself being 4 years ago. I was a little more wild back then. I was a little wild and a little ratchet with it too. But now I'm more chilled, I'm more laid back. I understand that growth is a real thing. I understand that paving the way, changing the trajectory of our family trees is a real thing. I understand that 6 months of consistency, grind, and focus is a real thing. Listen, you guys, if no one's ever told you, I'm going to be the one to tell you right now, 6 months of consistency, grind, and focus will put you 6 years ahead of everybody else, period, point blank. Caitlin, how did you get there so fast? 6 months of consistency, grind, and focus. Right? There's been people in the industry for 10 years that haven't been able to create what I've created in my business in 10 months because I did 6 months of consistency, grind, and focus. What about you? What are we going to do this May to change the trajectory of our family tree? What are we going to do this May to push ourselves and slingshot ourselves forward? Because we're not going to be doing that and be able to do that by looking to the left or right. We're not going to be able to do that with a coveting spirit. A lot of you guys, there's 27 people on this call, right? And a coveting spirit is a real spirit, right? It says, thou shalt not covet your neighbor's this, your neighbor's that, and your neighbor's this. So when you see a Shanae and a Sherilyn and a me, right? Don't have a coveting spirit, because the Lord can sense coveting, right? And he will show you, all right, fine, you want to keep coveting, I'll show you, I'll keep rising these people above so you can stay right here, because you have a coveting negative energy spirit. And what does that mean if you guys don't know what it means? I believe that coveting means comparing myself to a Caitlin. Wow, she has 2 kids, like, I'm single, I can't do it. Like, that's a coveting spirit. No, Caitlin put in the work. It's not fair to compare yourself to Caitlin. When she was 4 years ago at her mom's house in a room, 22, turning people down, not going out, not going to the parties, turning down this, and this, because I knew that if I can grind now in my 21, 22, 23, I'm going to live a life at 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Period, point blank. I had that mindset. Bradley, you're 22 years old, homie. Like my guy, you have so much, so much, like, you have so much room to come in here and kill these people, right? You have so much room in here to come kill your neighbors, your partners, people you went to school with, college with, high school with. You have so much room to knock it out right now if you just 6 months of consistency, grind, and focus. Some people might say, oh, that's green, the terminology. You guys, young folks, know what that means. Some people might say, oh, you're a nerd. Oh, you read the Bible now? Oh, you go to church now? Oh, like, people really do stuff like that, right? But I want you guys to understand that I have to become a better KB. I have to become a better Bradley. I have to become a better Lorena, right? I'm not going to covet Caitlin. I'm not going to covet Shanae's results, Sherilyn's results. Michael and Jalen's results. These are 28-year-old men who built a over $500,000 agency a month. Let's not covet them either, right? Let's not have coveting energy, coveting spirits, right? So with all that being said, I want you guys to know that anything that you've seen, those numbers from Shanae, from Sherilyn to Jamila, to a Aiden who did 6,000 last week on his own pen at 21 years old. Like, come on now. Like, I want you guys to understand, just as Shanae said, we are all coming from different industries. We all are coming from different backgrounds, right? We all have a different story. We all have a different testimony. But what allows us to stand out from others is, can we stand in the rain a little longer, right? Can you stand in the rain a little longer? See, so many people, and I hate to say it, and this might hurt, but I got to keep it real. And this wasn't even a segment on what I wanted to talk to you guys about, but something in my heart is telling me to go this direction. So I'm going to go in this direction. But what I've realized and what's allowed these people and myself and a Damon Dillard and a Michael and Jalen be where they're at today, regardless of not having the support, regardless of me having children young, regardless of being told no, regardless of Damon having to go through time after time and hours just to get to location A to B to make his business work in the business. Like, the only reason why we are here today, a Shanae, a Sherilyn, a Jamila, a Damon, a Mike, a Jalen, whoever you guys look up to, is because we were able to stand in the rain a little longer. We were able to endure the pain a little bit longer. So many people, and this is going to hurt, but are weak. And I don't mean physically weak. I don't mean physically weak. But some people, and this is something where you might have to identify and say, you know what? Maybe I am weak in the mind, in the heart. Maybe I have a lot of anger and envy and I have a lot of unhealed trauma in my heart, right? Oh, there's a heart on my shirt, y'all. In my heart, that's not allowing me to go to my next level in my business and success. Do you guys ever think about that? Like, do you guys ever wonder, like, why is my relationships not good? Why can I never just have good friendships? How come I have no good relationships in my family? How come my financial relationships are good? Like, what, doesn't that bother you guys? Like, it's not normal to walk around like, yeah, I don't have no family. It's not normal to walk around, I don't have friends, and my bank account's low. Like, don't you want to reach abundance in your finance, in your physical well-being, in your spiritual well-being, in your relationship well-being, platonic or not? Like, we have to understand that this business is deeper than submitting a sale. It's really about who you are and can you stand in the rain, right? Can you stand in the rain? So many people are like, oh, it's raining, I'm gonna run out. Oh, it's raining, I gotta go cover up. Oh, it's raining, I can't do it. Oh, my hair can't get wet. Oh, my makeup's gonna come off. Like, no, stand in the rain, get soaking wet. Because I promise you, once the storm is over, you're going to look back and be like, all praises due. I am so thankful. I am so honored. I am so grateful. I stood in the rain. And now I have people looking at me, asking me, and I'm not speaking personally me, but this is you guys. I have people texting me, like Shanae said, like, how do you do it? But Shanae is just like, I just stood in the rain a little longer. That's it. I wasn't willing to give up because I didn't understand. I went to school for 12 years and another 4 to 6 years to be a nurse, and I'm gonna give up on month 3 of my business because I'm not making no money. That's wild. Like, if you go deep, like, some people are not deep enough either, and that's our problem too. We're not even like deep enough to understand. Like, we have to be able to develop more awareness, you guys. Awareness isn't going to come naturally. Awareness is going to come from you saying, you know what? I want to study a Shanae. I want to study a Caitlin. What are the things she does, like, outside of business to make her even talk the way she does, to speak the way she does? Like, what are some things she reads or listens to on YouTube? What are some things Shanae does, like, outside of work? Like, I want to study these people. But to even say to yourself to I want to study these people is gonna first be even come from like just saying I'm like you're first aware, like, wow, that person's different. I'm aware. Now I'm aware that person does move a different, like their results are different. Like I'm aware, but now I need to go deeper. I need to dig a little deeper to understand what awareness does maybe that individual have that I maybe don't have, right? Because it's all a awareness thing. I promise you guys, like Bradley, when I was 22, I wouldn't even be able to formulate that sentence and say that to you. So that's what I mean when I say this isn't just something I have. This is something I've developed, right, over time because I'm like, that person is no different than me. My dad's like colored too. My mom's a white woman. I'm white and black, if you guys didn't know, right? I went to a normal education school. I went to college. I didn't tell you guys that. I went to college. I didn't graduate college. That's why I tell people, like, I didn't graduate. I have no degree, but I tried for 2 years. I sat in a classroom. I did it on, but like, I have no different background than Shanae. The only difference is I had kids, but she went to school. Her father was colored, right? She had a mom. She went to college. Like we're no different, but we're developing a skill set. We're developing more awareness because I need more awareness to get to my next level. Period, point blank. So I want to tell you guys just a few things real fast and I'll let you guys go this morning. I want you guys to understand that today is May 5th. It is a new month for new opportunity. So I do not want you guys to drag April's energy into May. Okay. I want you guys to understand that we have to, moving forward, start building habits. The first habit I want you guys to build is an awareness habit. So if that means I got to pause in my day, let me pause in my day. Let me pause in moments so I can say, let me be aware of what's going on around me. Right. I want you guys to also talk about like I want you guys to understand that we have to build habits into becoming spiritually more aware, financially more aware, and business more aware. Business is your script, your final sales, like what's happening, what you're supposed to be doing. You know, Shanae, she already told you guys metrics. Sherilyn talked about metrics. I'm not here to talk about metrics. I need you guys to get in a routine, especially in slow seasons. If you guys don't understand something, I want you guys to write down seed time harvest on your piece of paper. Seed time harvest. There's a time for seeding, and then we need time for it to harvest. So we plant the seeds, but we need time for harvesting, right? We plant the seeds, but we need time for harvesting. And I also want you guys to write down the 4 seasons. We have spring, summer, fall, winter. And if any of you guys know Jim Rohn, he always talks about it. I'm trying to sound like him too. You know, like you got to grow. You gotta grow. That's how he sounds. If you guys never listened to Jim Rohn, you gotta look him up. Jimrohn. You gotta grow. There's different seasons, you guys. There's winter, there's summer, but we're gonna always fall into fall. We can't avoid it, you guys. That's exactly how it sounds. I'm gonna stop now. But we're always gonna have a winter that you can't avoid. Then you're gonna have a summer, and summer and winter is like, that looks good. Summer looks even better. But now we're transitioning into fall. And I don't want you guys to compare the global seasons to what I'm talking about. We're talking about seasons in business, right? Not literal winter, summer, fall, right? And then you have fall and then you have winter. Winter for everyone is the most gloomiest season. That's the season where the money ain't coming in how you want, the sales aren't going how you want, right? The bank account might not look how you want. So maybe you guys are in a lot of seasons of winter. Maybe there's some people in a winter phase. But just know that after winter, spring is right around the corner. And that's when things start springing and growing because all that rain from all the storms, now you're starting to see these beautiful flowers blossoming in your business, in your life, in your relationships. friendships, your spiritual well-being, your physical well-being. Now you're in summer and you're just looking back like, wow, like spring was so beautiful. Like all of these beautiful flowers have blossomed, and now I'm just enjoying, and I'm, reaping everything I've sowed in the fall and the winter, and here is spring, and I'm reaping it now, and in summer's here, I'm still reaping, but oh no, we gotta grow, and every level has a new devil, right? So right after that, you guys, I'm going to prepare myself to understand that this is just temporary season of fall. And I have to already have in my mind and the awareness to know that right after fall comes a winter. Right? So with all that being said, you guys, I want you guys to identify who you're becoming this month. And I want you guys to know, like, we don't rise to our goals, we fall to our systems. Okay? We don't rise to our goals, we fall to our systems. So I want you guys to know the game plan for May is you have to know your dials. You have to know how many closes you're closing weekly. Your closing weekly will determine your closing ratio, guys. We need to know how many presentations we're doing for the month of May. Don't go into the month of May, guys, like unorganized. Please don't be sloppy in business. It's not attractive. We have to be organized. Just like you can't be sloppy with your partner or with your parents. Like you can't be sloppy with your business. Like write it down. All right. So we need to understand dials, presentations, closings. We need to understand the metrics. And you guys, to be quite frankly with you guys, I'm not going to tell you guys anything that I haven't already done. I'm not going to tell you guys anything that I haven't done that gave me the results I have currently. And what I did was, until I became a better salesperson, until I could close easier, because wow, come on, guys, are you telling me that after 5 months of knowing the script, you're not going to remember it even better than day 30 and day 60 and day 90? Like, I can guarantee you, like, Shanae and Sherilyn, like, they don't even, like, the script is the least of their worries. Their worries is contacts, presentations, period. Because at one point, you're going to know your script, like, completely, wholly, and fully, right? But now I have to understand that this business won't pay me unless I'm selling. So, all right, I'm going to teach you guys, and I want you guys to understand what Caitlin did, what a Shanae did, a Sherilyn did, right? Because these are the ladies that were in telesales with me. But you either do 300 dials, you either do 4 presentations or 2 closes, period, point blank. And I'm going to tell you guys how it is, right? Like Shanae said, oh, yeah, I don't like those people that be like dialing for 32 hours. Like, yeah, that's probably because like you suck in the beginning. Like, let me be real, you suck. That's why you're dialing for 32 hours. You suck. But eventually you get better, right? You're going to get better. But not if you give up, because you can't stand the rain, right? So 300 dials technically is literally 900 dials. The reason why is because you dial a client 3 times. 3 times, right? Back to back. That counts as 1. You do that 300 times, period. But what's going to slow you down is when you finally get a presentation, because the presentation takes 30 to 45 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour in the beginning, because you're new. You don't know your script. You're not the best. You suck in the beginning. I suck at the gym right now. You know why? Because I missed out on the gym for a whole year. I suck ass. People look at me like this out of shape girl. It's normal. Anytime you start something new, you suck. But do you want to get better is the question. That's my question to you. Do you want to get better? Because the wanting to get better is going to show in your effort and your results. Not us having to check on you. Hey, what are you doing? Are you dialing? Like, forget that. I don't want to work with people that I got to babysit. I got 2 children I babysit daily. I'd be danged if I have to babysit some grown adults. So I'm going to tell you guys what you have to do. And you're going to have to do the 300 dials. or get in 4 presentations or 2 closes. You guys understand those metrics right there? Drop a fire in the chat if you understand the metrics. Raise your hand if you don't. Because the reason why you have to do 300 dials in a day is because I need to go through people to pick up the phone so I could get a presentation, right? Like, how do I get a presentation if I'm not dialing? And how can I sell somebody on the phone if I'm not doing a presentation? Does that make sense? You guys hear me okay? So with that being said, I need to go through 300 dials or do 4 presentations or get 2 closes because there's no way you've been practicing your script like you said you was. There is no way you're looking at this script day and night. There's no way you're 60 days in, 90 days in. There's absolutely no way. And you're not closing when you do 4 presentations. There's something wrong with you, not the process, not the script, not the leads, you. Because there's no way I've been doing this for 30, 60, 90, 120 days. And I've went through 4 presentations in a day and I can't close 1. Like on a 7-day period. Now, don't get me wrong. I go days without closing. Shanae goes days without closing. Sherilyn goes days without closing. We all go days without closing. But like I said, if you're consistent and you're showing up for your business though, right? And you're running your business 6, 7, 5 days a week until you become a pro and you can do 3 days a week. Stop looking at the next person above you that already did $1 million. Stop worrying about what they got going on in their schedule. Stop looking at your upline. Stop looking at your mentors. Stop looking at your coaches that be in different countries and different places and on the plane. They deserved it. They earned it. You haven't earned that yet. You don't deserve that. You don't. So stop looking at them and realize you go to work. They don't got to do the $300. I don't got to do $300 because for 6 months, I did 6 months of consistency, grind, and focus so I could put myself 6 years ahead. Can you do the same? Or what do they say? What about you? Right? Isn't that what they say? So with all that being said, you guys, with all that being said, until I don't suck anymore, we all suck at something once upon a time, but get better at it. Get better, you guys. Get better. I just feel like I cussed my BD out, guys, but in a good way, like in a good way. I had a lot of energy with me. But what I'm trying to say is get better. Hit a 300 dials or close 2 policies or at least do 4 presentations. Me, Damon, Mike, Jalen, Sherilyn, Shanae, we will have way more respect for you. Way more respect for you. One more time. We will have way more respect for you when you can show up with proof that you did 4 presentations. You tried to do 300 dials. You tried the 4 presentations and you didn't close. That's understandable. But if you call me or text us, oh, we got 100 leads today, like 100 leads, I could dial that in an hour. Like are you for real? Like we can go neck for neck, you guys. You're not talking to somebody that's like, I know I'm a beautiful person. Thank you guys. I'm beautifully inside and out. But that doesn't mean like I am not tough at heart. Like can't nothing knock me down. And when I say can't nothing knock me down, somebody telling me no can't knock me down. I'm dialing the next person because it's not about me. And I'm not a selfish person. And if I was selfish, the people direct beneath me wouldn't have the results they had, period. Right? I'm not a selfish person. And because of that, I understand that this ain't about Caitlin. It's about her kids, her family, her partners in this business and their families and their children. It's not just about me. If it was, I wouldn't be on this call right now. You guys wouldn't get a text back from me because I wouldn't care, right? If it was all about Shanae, she wouldn't have expressed what if it was all about Damon, he wouldn't be putting these calls together for you guys. Right? So like, I know like this was, way off, but I needed to talk to you guys because it's May. Like, we can't play ourselves small anymore. Some of you guys on this call are playing yourself small. Like, you are. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you are. And as of May 5th, that stops. Man, woman, that stops. Like, get to work. Put in the work. Get sweaty. Get dirty. Go without the nails and lashes and the hairdos for now. Put that money in leads. Invest into your business. And then when you get to a point self-sufficiently where, okay, you're not only making enough money to pay all your bills, but now you're profiting after bills are paid and leads spent. Now you could go do those things like lock in. Like, you can't lock in when you're always spending your money. You can't lock in when you're out and about in other places besides in front of your leads. Like, you just really can't. So I'm gonna end this call with question and answers, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this call with questions and answers. Let's get it, guys.
Kim,
If
question. I had copied and pasted it. I was looking in the chat. Kim, you had a question? I think it was Jamila. You see it, KB?
You wanted to know
Mhm.
how do I approach my coworkers, Kim? Because I don't see it. I think that's what it was. Do you see it, Shanae?
Yeah, I just copy and pasted it in the chat.
Oh, hold on. Um,
Is
I,
Kim, if you can unmute and ask.
I see it. General conversation. I asked them, what do they have? A lot of times people don't have things at work. But if they do, I let them know that I ask them what they have. Because I think we only have the option of, I think, whole life at work. And I asked them, what does that come with? What you laughing at?
Sorry. I'm not laughing at you, Mama. I'm laughing
Yeah.
at somebody else.
And then I asked them, what does that come with? Do they know whether their policy has like living benefits? And I generally always have a copy. Particularly, I personally like Royal Neighbors. I'm a fan. Of their on their second page, it has like what exactly living benefits are, and I let them read it. And then 9 times out of 10, they don't have it. And then I just usually set them up with an appointment, or we do it at work, or I have a Royal Neighbors app on my phone. I ask them a few questions as far as height, weight, date of birth, or whatever the case may be. And I do like a quote for them, but I also let them know like we can go more in depth about their situation, because people have mortgages, people have children. I want to make sure that they get the right amount of coverage, because coverage looks different for everyone. Whether you're married or not, whether you have a mortgage or not, how many kids you have, whether you are in debt or not, those things matter.
Was that helpful? Guys, where you guys at? There's 26 people on the call. You guys are really quiet, like some crickets. All right, guys. So do we have any additional questions? Do we have any questions, you guys? I know we had
I have
a
a question.
Okay, Lorena, go ahead. Come on in, Mama. Good morning.
Good morning. My question is the senior centers. I know that Cher did one, I believe, that she posted in the chat. Because I created a list last week of like I think 10 to 13 different senior centers that are in my area, and I just wanted to know, should I be calling them first or just pop up on them and like, hey, I'm trying to do a senior center out here kind of thing, or should I qualify it by calling them first to see if they already have somebody doing that for them? You know what I mean?
That's a good
Yeah.
question. I call them, but I feel like you get more pushback when you call. And I think Damon recommended that you just drive like and just show up in person. So that way they
Mhm.
see who you are and like get a better feel of like what you want to do. I think that's what he recommended. Just pull up.
Okay, and if they pull up on them. Okay,
Mhm.
and gotcha. And I did the route planning thing that Damon suggested. It's really cool. They reorganize it in a way that like gets you the shortest distance in between all of them. So I'm looking forward to like routing that out today. But also, I was wanting to know about like what do I bring to the first like interaction? Should I just have my like because I only have digital business cards, but like for future references, should I have a flyer pre-planned out or just it's some kind of informational piece because I'm just showing up as me, you know, should I bring anything like as far as what we offer or anything, or we're just having a conversation?
For me personally, I've sometimes have technical issues with like their stuff, so I end up just talking and having a conversation, honestly. But Damon also in the senior center tab, he has like a whole voice message on like you should definitely come in with posters and start posting them in common areas, especially to start marketing. I think that's the number one thing as well is to really market your senior center, and that's something that I would fail in, to be honest, if I'm being fully transparent. Um, so definitely, when you pull up, have your posters ready or just show like an idea of what your poster would be, and then if they give like usually sometimes they post it for you or you can post it yourself um because then you need like a of course a final date and like a yes and everything, but yeah, post it in common areas like a week or even like a before. And then also I know I forgot who, but someone would also pull up like the day before or something like that to start hyping people up like, hey, did you
Mhm.
hear about the senior center, the presentation that's happening tomorrow? Or you know like some people do that, or I think from what Damon's voice message, he said also just stick around after the presentation as well to keep
Mhm.
talking to them. So definitely yeah, definitely do that to keep them.
Gotcha. Last thing I think more along the follow-up. Let's say for example, someone's like in the senior centers, like because I met them originally in person. If they're like, you know, not right now kind of thing, and like the follow-up still gonna be virtual, like over the phone, or should I double double dip and go back? Or is it just like, hey, I'm here for the presentation, whoever I can close today, I close, and then anybody I'm following up with, it's gonna be on the phone.
Let me let me jump in real quick. So a couple of things. Number one, good, incredible Monday to every single one of my beautiful people on the line. Listen, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning just to be a part of this call, so I am feeling all of Cher right now. I get it. Listen, when Cher told me, she said, "Listen, Damon, I'll be honest with you. There are some calls that I get on, and that my head is on the pillow at the same daggone time. I understand. I completely understand. Okay, so here's what I want everybody to write down, not just Lorena, and I will go ahead and put this in the chat as well. Family, can you do me a favor? Can we just pause for station identification, and can you all throw some double fire signs in the chat for the incredible ladies that did the call this morning? They did not have to. I'm sure they probably did not want to, but somebody put the word stretch in the comments. Somebody put the word stretch in the comments. I know Jamila was like, listen, Damon, if it wasn't for you, I would not be doing this. I know, listen, Shanae probably said, listen, brother, if you knew, you knew. But I do not want to be. But listen, somebody say stretch in the comments. The word is stretch, family, stretch. Had it never been for managers, upline, success team members, business partners that saw something in me over a decade ago, there were calls that they asked me to do. There were things that they asked me to volunteer for. And I was like, but wait a minute, that defeats the purpose of having to volunteer. Like a volunteer, like asked to be, I didn't ask, right? And so had it not been for them kind of pushing me into leadership roles and opportunities, family, I would have never seen the Damon that many of you all see right now. See, the one great thing about having somebody that may be quote unquote above you is they see around the corner when you only see a cliff. They may see, you may only see to the hill, but they see over the hill. And so their responsibility, my responsibility, Caitlin's responsibility, your responsibility as a leader, you want to put this on your heart, put this on your notes as well. Their responsibility is to see more in you than you can even see in yourself. If you only see someone as they are, they only become worse. But if you see them as they could be, they become everything that they should be, right? And so it is my responsibility to put you all in a position to say, hey, listen, there's more in you. There's greater in you. Does that make sense? All right. So congratulations again to the ladies that did the call this morning. You all are doing a phenomenal job. I do not want to steal your thunder at all, but somebody is asking about my bread and butter. Lorraine, I want you to write this down. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. And I know in business, because many of you all are conditioned to have all the answers. I know we got a lot of analytical folks in the room right now, but let me teach you all something about entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, in many ways, family, is getting your plane off the ground and building the engine in the air. I know that statement alone scared the crap out of every single one of you. Y'all just said to yourself, wait a minute, brother. Wait a minute. You want me to build? Yes. You're getting your plane off the ground. You're building the engine. There may be an engine in the plane right now, but you're doing some recon on it. You're getting bigger wings. You're getting a bigger engine. Like you're doing the work right now. And so, family, for many of you, I know what you're looking for is you're looking for a perfect answer so you can do it perfectly. Listen to me. That is not entrepreneurship. That is having a job. A job is going to tell you, do this, do this, do this, and do this. Entrepreneurship is going to give you a leader like a Damon Dillard, and he's going to say, do it. Damon, do what? Do it. Wait a minute. What exactly are you asking me to do it? What? Okay, I'm confused. Are you saying do the seniors? Yes, do it. But how? I don't know. Do it anyway. Okay, Damon, but I don't have my cards yet. Do it anyway. Okay, but Damon, I just heard Sherry. She said she had like a poster board or something. And so, do I need to create the No, do it. Well, wait a minute, Damon. So you mean to tell me like, but I need like professional clothing, and I need the right type of shirt, and the shirt has to have the right type of emblem, so that way I can represent my business and my brand. And wait a minute, Damon, I don't even have a website yet, and I need to get my LLC. No, bump all of that. Do it. See, the reason why we got to where we are is because nobody gave me a game plan. Nobody gave me a blueprint. Family, everything that literally, listen to me, literally everything that you all have right now came from my mind. I'm not saying that to gloat. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to empower you. Everything that you all are currently experiencing within this seven-figure community and within your own IMO came from my imagination. You all are exactly where you want to be. And so here's what I would do, Lorena. You told me that you already made your route. And so what I would do is I would go to every single one of those senior centers. Who you want to speak to is the senior benefits coordinator. This is a young lady or the young man that is responsible for the events at their senior center. Now, this could be an independent living facility. This could be a senior community. This could be senior housing, anything like that. Ultimately, the only thing that you do not want to do or go to is a center that is a rehabilitation center. You do not want to go to a place also where they're serving medications. If they're serving medications, I'm not doing a senior play there. If it's a rehabilitation center, I'm not doing a senior play there. Why? Because most of the people will not qualify for coverage anyway, right? So I'm going to speak to the senior benefits coordinator, and I'm simply going to tell them, hey, I'm a licensed life insurance agent. I would love to put together a workshop for your residents explaining the benefits and the defects of many of the things they see on TV and get in the mail. Oh, by the way, I'm not going to say the name of any company. I'm just simply there to serve. And so I'm going to bring pizza. I'm going to bring some pop. When will be the best day for us to do this? I do have some availability this week. Now, if you need a script on that, that is within the seven-figure agent Dropbox. And I will go ahead and put that in the I'll go ahead and put that in the group again, just in case you don't have it. Now, Damon, well, what else do I need to give them in that moment? Nothing. You need to give them the expectation that you are going to either put up flyers or some type of marketing piece eventually inside of the senior center. So, for example, if somebody tells me today, okay, Damon, I don't mind if you come in. If you can come in Thursday, that would be great. What I would do is I would immediately go to Kinko's. I would immediately go to some place where I can get some type of marketing piece. You could spend a couple of dollars just printing something on Canva or, connecting with KB. She may charge you a few dollars to do it if she has time, but creating something that is a marketing piece. I'm going to take that marketing piece and I'm going to put it in the high traffic areas within the senior center. I'm going to put it in the elevators. I'm going to put it, they typically have a sticky, like a note board, whatever it's called, push pin board, whatever, outside of the elevators. I'm going to put it in the common areas. And so if they have like a mess hall, for example, if they have an area where they kind of gather to watch TV, I'm going to put it everywhere. Here's what else I'm going to do. I'm going to tell the senior benefits coordinator that for every one person, and do me a favor, fam, if you all can hear me okay, can you drop a fire sign in chat? Because I know y'all hear the lady over the loudspeaker too.
We can hear you just fine.
I'm good. Okay, cool. So I'm also going to tell the senior benefits coordinator, or whoever I'm setting up the event with, I will give her $5 for every single resident. Now, you all can say $1 if you want to. I say $5. For every single resident that you can get in the room that day, I'm gonna give you $5. And I'll even make it simple for them. I'll say, so listen, you bring me 100 people, I cut you a check for $500. I'm not gonna cut her a check. I'm gonna give her a gift card, but for every person, $5. Question for you, family. Is that worth it for you? Somebody say, absolutely yes. Why? Because at minimum, for a quality lead that you are prospecting still, you have to get in contact with still, you have to hunt down still. Hello? You're paying $20. So you're paying $20 for an opportunity to try. I'm paying $5 for an opportunity to speak to. Hello? Does this make sense, family? Now, once I've done that, I'm expecting to have at least 20 to 30 people at the meeting. Family, I am not getting a PowerPoint presentation together. Why? Because most people suck at even presenting a PowerPoint presentation. Damon, what does that mean? With elderly people, you want all of their attention. You want the attention to be on you. So it is a conversation. It is not a presentation. I want to say that again. The biggest mistake many people are making right now when they do a senior center is they're too structured. It is a conversation. It's the same thing I'm saying one-to-one, but now it's one-to-many. The same questions I'm asking one-to-one, I'm asking one-to-many. There is no difference. Now watch this. Final thing. Lorena, you said, okay, am I setting an appointment with them to come back? No, I'm selling their butts today. There is no, as far as the way I do business, I don't know about y'all. Like, I know y'all trying to get to the money. Like, this is what I taught Caitlin to do, right? It's a one call close. Either you know or you don't know. It's today. Okay, Damon, how do you go about doing that? At the end of my senior center presentation, again, I'm not trying to sell anybody in that setting. What I simply say is, so listen, I know many of you may have a couple of questions about the information that I went over today. You may even be curious about if you qualify to either get coverage or maybe you just need a policy review. I tell you what, while you all are eating, I'm going to stick around for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and I'll answer any questions that you have at that point. Now watch this, family. If you came there to serve, somebody put the word serve in the comments. If you came there to serve, somebody put the word serve in the comments. If you came there to serve, not I came there to get a sale. If you came there to serve, your heart posture is automatically going to put you in a position to where people are going to want to pay you back. It's called the law of reciprocation. You can't avert it. The law of reciprocation is literally going to state, okay, man, this young man gave his heart today. He gave me some incredible information. He was prepared. He was precise. He was inquisitive. She was inquisitive. I love them. They showed their personality today. They're going to have some questions for y'all. And I guarantee you what's going to happen is they're going to walk up afterwards and they're going to say, hey, do you think I can qualify for this? They're going to say, hey, I have some questions, but I don't want to ask you here. Can you come to my room later? And so what will happen, family, is I literally schedule a time on the hour, every hour for the rest of the day to spend with the residents. And so I may have Sally Ann at 1 o'clock. I may have John Smith at 2 o'clock. I may have Ruben at 3 o'clock. But my idea is I want to gather them, give the information, and now I'm closing them individually in their rooms. Does this make sense? Is that clear? Family, listen to me. You all right now, okay? And I know we got some people that are not inside of the seven-figure agency. Hey, listen, y'all getting this for free right now. Congratulations, right? Somebody invited y'all onto this call. So somebody just say, you're welcome. Somebody just say, you're welcome. Okay. Family, many of you are literally jumping over hundreds of thousands of dollars. To do what? To pick up pennies. To literally pick up pennies. Family, your quickest, your safest, and your easiest way to mountains of cash is using leverage. The reason why seven-figure agents is called Seven-Figure Agent Academy is because we talk about business principles. Buy your leads if you want to. That's fine. I do believe every single one of you needs to have a system in your business, but I do believe your next level is optimizing that. When you learn brand building, when you learn social media marketing, when you learn different leverage points, when you learn how to create relationships with people that have the influence over your ideal client, when you learn those things, the money comes easily and effortlessly. Does this make sense, family? Okay. I want to throw it back to, if anybody has any questions, I think I got to get on my flight at like 8:30. No, I'll leave at 8:05. So I want to throw it back to the ladies. Tonight, we will be having digital income and sales mastery. I'm going to encourage every single one of you, because I've been getting a lot of questions from the group about building brand. I know many of you right now are on the verge of building your own organizations, looking to recruit, looking to build your teams, looking to start attracting some people into your organizations. You need to be on the call tonight. If you have a social media page, you can't miss tonight's call. All right. I'm going to be sharing some things that I've never shared before. Some things that, honestly, I was having a conversation with a young man that made over $9 million in a single day about marketing. Another young man that spent about $80,000 on ads. And on a monthly basis, he makes around 800 to 900 grand. These are the conversations that I'm coming off of from this weekend. So you all get to get that first. Is that cool? Is that okay? Somebody say, yeah. Y'all like, Damon, you still in speaking mode. Yeah. Let me throw it back over to KB. Love and life, family.
We appreciate you, Damon, so much. Thank you. We are honored to have you as our coach. And you guys, if you're not a part of the second seven-figure agent community, the goal is to have you guys in this room, in this energy 24/7, because this is actually what's needed to get to the next level. Now, I see, Shakira, you have a question, and then I want to close us out with a goal for you guys, and then we'll be done. Yep.
Sorry. So I start the True Wealth boot camp next week. My question was, because I currently only have Florida, should I go ahead and get like a couple more states before going into that?
I would maybe get like one or two more. So if anybody else is in the same scenario on this call, like let's just say you have one license, I would at least get another one if you can. And I would find like a cheap one. Like there's some $20 ones, $30 ones. Like every state has a different price. Like I would check out, I think Ohio, um, it really doesn't matter the state. I would search through them and find one what's reasonable, feasible for you. But when you purchase your leads, you might have leads in like a Texas. Like you might not always have the leads in the states you're licensed when you're starting out.
Okay.
What I did when I first started out, I couldn't afford a whole bunch of licensing at first. So what I would do is I would close the client first, collect all their information as if I was inputting it in the system. Then I would go to the site and spend the $100 real fast, because if you're already an agent licensed, when you go buy a license in another state, the license comes back within a couple hours saying approved. As long as the insurance company knows that your license was approved prior to you submitting the policy, regardless if it was approved 1 minute ago, as long as it was approved 1 minute before you submitted the policy, you're good to go. They're not going to come back and say, you just bought the license today, you have to wait. But your goal is to do your best over time to get about 7 through 10. But again, feasibly, financially, if we're in a place where we're like, I've already got like these things happening this now, and this is for anyone. You can go about closing a client, buying a license as once you know for sure that state is going to submit. Does that make sense? Now I want to end you guys out here with this. Well, first, Shakira, did that make sense? Is that cool? Any other question there? Okay, perfect. So I want to end you guys out with a goal. I've seen some of you guys post a monthly income goal of like 15K or 14K, and then you guys would put like my income goal is 15,000 and I'm going to help 15 families. I'm going to emphasize on how it doesn't work like that. And the reason why is because you have to consider your um, 9 month advance. So that means some of the money is going to be subtracted, and you have to consider your comp level. So if we have a goal this month to submit 10,000 in profit, meaning $10,000 actually deposits in my bank account, not an AP number. No, this money deposits in my bank account. There's a big difference. How we're going to do that is we need to at least assist 15 families, 14 to 15, because most of your money, not all of it, but there's a percent of our income in an AP that's subtracted, right? Because there's only a 9 month advance. Plus, some of us are only at a 85 or 90% or 95% contract, right? So if your goal is to submit 5,000 this month, you cannot have a goal to only help 3 to 5 families. you want to try to strive to know if I want to deposit in my bank account profit 5K, I probably should submit 7 to 8 families. And the reason why I'm saying 7 to 8, because it's always going to depend on your annual premium of that client. If the client's premium is like $50 a month, yes, that's when you're going to have to push for the larger app amount to get, like, let's say you wanted 10K deposited, but all your premiums are super small, you're probably going to have to at least submit, 16, 17 families to get that 10K if your premiums are small, right? But if you're having premiums that are like 2K, 3K, 1500, 1700, that looks a little different. You can probably, submit closer in AP and deposit close to that AP number if those premiums were larger. So remember, you guys, you can't have goals of 5 families, 5K profit. You're not getting $1,000 per client. That's what it sounds like you're saying when you guys say that. And that's not how this works. Some of your paychecks from one client is $690. Some of the paychecks from one client is $540, right? So we have to be smart here and understand, if my goal is to profit 10K, and if I haven't done that, if anybody on this call, like, there's several people, that have seen more than that. But my goal for everyone right now is to get you guys to 10,000 in profit. You guys, you have 25 days to go out there and help 20 to 21 families. And how am I going to do that, Caitlin? Well, if I'm a warm market person, I'm a warm market. Jamila did, she does her thing at work all the time, right? But if I know I'm telesales, I'm going to do $300 a day, or 4 presentations a day, or 2 sales a day. So I can make sure that by the end of this month, I've been able to help the 15 to 16 families to be able to profit the 10,000, right? Depositing in the bank account. So your AP might say 15, 16K for the month, but your profit depositing in your bank account might show 10, 11, or 12,000, right? But if you want to see 10, 11, or 12,000, you need to go out there and help 15 to 16 families, right? All right, guys. So you guys know what your goal is. You guys know how much money you want to make. I'm going to end it here, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this call, and drop a fire in the chats where you found this call if you guys would like to see and have more calls like this. It's Monday, it's May 5th. We got 25 to 26 days to go out there and rock this thing out. I love you all very much, and it's been a pleasure this morning, and I'll see you guys later.
Hey, KB.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to, so I didn't have a question, but I did want to thank you. I don't know if you remember the advice you gave me on the last builders call we had, but you told me to like kind of stop. I think you told me to stop like just posting clients and start like actually posting stuff for agents.
Yes.
And I just wanted to let you know like that. I mean, I started getting traction, like the attention that I wanted to start getting. So I just wanted to thank you for that. So